Verse number 58. Do not think in ever new terms of yesterday, today, tomorrow, or another day. All the endless counting and measuring is due to confusion. One should know that there is not any difference. Commentary. If you tell a story to a child, he will keep on asking, "What then?" Even when you finish the story by saying, "Finally the king died," he will ask again, "What then?" As in the child, in us too, there is an irrepressible urge to live the new. We have the satisfaction of living a moment by experiencing it as the actualization of a cherished desire. In fact, the so-called moment is the measure of the process of our achievement or the failure of our attempt to achieve. If the mind is not filled with a holistic interest, and the urge to act is not fully lived, dejection or boredom seeps in and creates an interlude between one main event and another main event. Time looms large as the fact of experience, when such interludes bring the drag of expectation and ask the mind to wait. Mind cannot wait endlessly for interesting things to happen, so it recalls past events which in some manner were exciting, agitating, or disturbing. Another device which comes easily accessible to the mind is to fill the interlude with an interesting item such as a fantasy. The Guru is asking us to take our recalled experience of yesterday and our what next anticipation of tomorrow and the day after, along with the now of today, and see how the objects and events in them are only configurations of the modalities of consciousness. He wants us to look for the difference in non-difference and the non-difference in difference. According to Indian psychologists, there are 9 major moods, and all the shades of interest cluster around them. They are erotics and compassion, heroics and hatred, fear and peace, humor and revulsion, and wonder. The dominant note of these moods can be seen as either coming under a positive resonance with the harmony of the Absolute, or as tending to create disharmony. Erotics, compassion, peace, humor, and wonder are in harmony with the perennial value of the Absolute, while the remaining 4 moods are opposed to cosmic harmony. With all the combinations and permutations of these positive and negative attitudes, the mind can get into processes that reflect innumerable states. At the same time, each mood or state has its own nucleus that is directly related to the value significance of the Absolute. Everything belonging to the world of relativism has an origination, and hence is terminable. In the first vision of his Darshanamala, the Adhyaropa Darshanam, Narayana Guru says, "When self-knowledge shrinks, then ignorance is fearful. Substantiation by name and form, in the most terrible fashion, looms here, ghost-like." Verse number 7. Forgetfulness of the self or the Absolute is called nescience or ignorance. The feeling that a happy moment is gone or is only about to come indicates a rift or chasm in self-knowledge. Although the sun does not go anywhere, for the people dwelling on the rotating earth, it looks as though it is rising, traveling across the sky, and then setting. For those who know that time and space are only creations of the mind, however, there are no limitations and there are no events. The value of the Absolute is coexistent with its beginningless and endless existence. The highest value of the Absolute as a living experience is identical with happiness, and the normative notion for deciding its validity is the unexpended nature of the summum bonum. In other words, the nature of the Absolute is eternal happiness. For this reason, Narayana Guru equates imperishable happiness with the self, and the self with the Absolute. Perceiving or experiencing happiness is the same as knowing the self, and to know the self is to transcend all limitations, such as time and space, name and form, cause and effect, and the duality of subject and object. Therefore, we should remain self-founded in the unexpended beingness of the Absolute. And the free translation of verse number 58 is as follows. One should realize it is futile to ruminate on the past, be expectant of the present, and fantasize about the future. Without endlessly counting and measuring in confusion, one should cognize the one that always prevails, perceiving there is no differentiation.